So, point about this Gauss, what did I change? I put in this here, and I lost a bit of strength. So we could try and run that. I also put in overextended. So before I would have had, what did I have in here before? I had Vigilante Vigor there. I'd swapped overextended and had put in, I believe, Energy Nexus. So if you didn't want to run this build, you would have this like this. Have that out and that out. So Energy Nexus in there, and you would have more strength in here. That's the way I had it before, I believe. Yeah, that looks about right. Attack speed is 68%, fire rate 128, duration 51. Yeah, roughly about that. That's how I had it before. So I'm trying to change it around though and do this with it. So taking that out, giving it a bit of range, just to have something different. Since I've played him in a high duration way for so long now. Now we can put in Mach Crash. We can group these guys up with that and get easy kills and easily stack up and incarnate melee weapons by grouping up enemies. Or, you can use the Prisma Obex and finisher them. This is essentially going to make it like Vauban's 4, where we can pull them together and finisher them. So over here for energy management, we've got Nourish, and we've got 2 of these purple shards, a bit of duration. And I like Parkour Velocity, so I put in Parkour Velocity because it goes with the Gauss's theme. So we can use something like this. So let's have a look at this. If we get our attack speed up, and then we get our heat damage, we get our Nourish active. Now we can group people up with that. Watch this. If we crash into this wall, they'll all get grouped up. Now we can do lots of damage with this. Now this is just one option. There's lots of other great melees for this sort of setup. So pretty decent. Into the wall crash, then just smash them up with the chainsaw. And you'd probably be better to use something else though. I just thought I'd try that one out. Something like this would be better, I think. The Duelicker is going to obviously work really good. The electric, Great Riven, really, that's what that's there for. We've got condition overload, so initial hits are really strong. Then the electric and gas is really strong as well. The electric and critical chance are nice there. The melee damage is just an extra boost. Couldn't really ask for a better Riven for what I want this to do. We get Parkour Velocity here too, which is going to work. I believe this multiplies with the Parkour Velocity shards on our frames. So we've got that there. We've got this here because this is just good for easy grouping and easy killing with that. Fulmination is going to help for the stragglers. But this with Corrosive Heat, Blast, and Electric, Critical Chance, Critical Damage, that's just there to replace Jolt really and give us some extra other boosts. Hornet Strike, Multiplicative Galvanized Shot, and Merciless, so a lot of damage there. Easily group them up and blow them up with that. And then, the Stun, another AoE decent weapon. Damage, so that's our Serration essentially, that's all that is. We can lose Primed Ravage as well because we've got that in there to allow us to fit Magnetic Corrosive Heat. You could, we've got damage there from that, which we don't need. We could drop that and put in this. Scattering Inferno would probably get on better with that. So that gives us, 546% status chance, which is absolutely ridiculous. Really, really strong. 142 in there. It's not the same primer that we're running about with earlier. How are you doing, Baron? So I was just saying at the beginning of this stream that I've changed Gauss around a bit. I've lost a bit of duration and strength to fit in a bit of range and Mach Crash. So we can group these guys up here. And remember the finisher and stuff I was doing with Vauban, where we were ragdolling enemies and then we were finisher them with the Obex. We can now do that with this if we want to as well, which is quite cool. We've got a great crit chance and stuff. Still got, we're still going to have infinite shields basically. All we've really done is give it a bit of range and a bit of group in here. Dualicker, because obviously we're going to have these gas clouds lingering electric. More parkour velocity here from that. The Riven's just an electric Riven with a bit of melee damage. It's not really that important. As long as you've got electric here, it's going to basically give you the same results. This as well, because this is nice for grouping. It's multiplicative with Shot and Hornet Strike. That's just replacing Jolt and giving us a bit more boosts to that stats. But obviously, you just put Jolt in there and it's going to kill just as good. I have got Arcane Hotshot, so that's why I don't really care about this critical chance here right now. So it's basically the same as before, but we've got grouping, which is a bit different and nice. Activate all the buffs. Now we can get the grouping together. Watch this. You can group these people up, and then if you had the Obex, you know, we could finisher them if we wanted to. And look, we're stacked up to 12 already. Put these guys in here, and then, you know, the gas should just deal with anybody that gets pulled in again. In theory. So this is survivability still being withheld with you know, the shield mods we have. So we can make light work of them. We can keep Hotshot up indefinitely, really. So our survivability lets them pause these dudes here. We'll keep the companion alive because I don't want him to die and have to be. So if we have these guys here, they're in the heat, so they're not really going to damage us that much. As long as we keep our 4 active, we shouldn't have a problem surviving, he says before he dies. So we should be alright. Companion's kind of taking the heat off us. But us getting really attacked. So we'll get an Eximus, guys. So we shouldn't have lost any survivability with this build anyway. So as long as we keep our 4 active, we should be good. And Arcane Aegis is still proccing, yep. And now we're getting Overguard from the Hound. And then, you know, we can do this. We can group these guys up. If it broke any Overguard, and then... Yeah. So it feels pretty good that, you know, but obviously the Gauss I had earlier, I was saying at the beginning of the stream, I'd swapped Overextended for just slotting that in there, got rid of that, put in a bit of strength, and then got rid of that and put in a bit more duration. But I think this is quite cool and fun and different, instead of just, you know, being solely around duration and strength. Now we've got a bit of grouping built in it as well, which is quite cool. I would say so, yeah. Like all terrain Gauss, we can everything can be, you know, used. Like I just showed the benefits of the grouping with the force with the melee there. But if we do it like this, make sure we survive this. Got our buffs up, get that in, get that on the go. Now, if we group these guys up like this, now we can, you know, blow them up with the bees. And as long as they're standing inside the hotshot circle or the hounds there, you know, they're gonna keep your hotshot stacked up. So I thought that this augment would come in handy because a lot of the time when you're playing Gauss, you do crash into the walls quite a lot. So it's just an extra free grouping, really, is it? So if we run into there, then we can just jump out there. This isn't a good simulacrum to really show it. But, you know, I suppose it's extra survivability as well because you're ragdolling these people that can't then shoot you. We'll get a stun ready. So we've got the stun ready now. You know, we can do that sort of shit. Suppose it's a bit redundant, you don't need it. You know, you can just run it this way that I've always done it. The main thing is we're not losing any survivability. This brief respite and his passive is going to let you survive anything apart from Toxin, Archanaegis as well. Once that procs once, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the passive are going to make you survive absolutely anything. Arcane Hotshot's going to be stacked all the time because there's always going to be enemies standing inside that heat there. Now we can do blast as well. Obviously, we can turn this gas, blast, electric, Duelicker into something quite powerful. We'll do that just now. We've got blast on all the weapons as well. Well, the Strun naturally has blast, and then the pistols naturally have blast in them as well. So now if we do that, now we're going to have blast on all the weapons. Blast and gas. Which is going to be quite nasty, especially if we group them up and then we get a blast proc. Well, we didn't even proc Incarnate yet. Look what it's doing. So if we do this, it would obviously be better than a better room. So we group these guys up. And there's going to be gas, blast, procking on these people now. Whether you want blast or heat, I don't know. I think that the heat is the better element in general, though. I'll just mean we get funnier procs now on. We're still stacking Hotshot from the Hound as well. We get a lot more blast procs in this. We've got heat, corrosive, blast naturally on the pistols as well. We're just getting a lot more blast damage now. So 208% blast. And the Hound's keeping that Hotshot at 50, it's just not dropping at all because they're also standing inside this. But I believe we can strip their armor as well. We do like this, we've got armor strip built in too, so what are they? Yeah, look, they've had armor stripped as well. If we hit them with over 100, with 100% battery, and then you cast your cold and then your heat, you can armor strip the room. Yeah, like that. See, and then we can group them up, and then they're all just going to explode. No health, no armor, and grouping built in, which is a nice little touch that I often forget about. The guy says the built-in armor strip. You just need to ensure that your battery is over 100%. So another cool weapon we could use in this would be, pause these dudes here. Then we'll talk about Loki in a second as well. Because Loki's got quite a lot of fun ways to play him as well. So if we go and take, where is it? The Prism Obex, let me show this off. It's basically the same sort of setup we'll have with Bobbin. We can get that 40% parkour boost instantly, basically, and we can put electric blast in this, electric heat, electric cold. I would probably just go electric heat to spread that around. That would be the best option. But if we do this like this, look, so we can get instant extra free parkour velocity, which means you don't need the parkour in the shards if you intend to use this. We can get this combo built up. Combo's built up now. Then we can start doing finishers and get our 40% parkour velocity again. And that's us at 30% parkour velocity. And then, one more person grouped up and finishered. And that's it. I do believe these finishers will do heat damage as well because we've got thermal transfer active. Regardless, we're going to spread influence and heat on these fists. So we're going to just group them up and then, finisher them. Like that. So pretty good damage. But we mostly use that for just the parkour velocity. So it's insane parkour velocity that we've got the shards on Gauss. And we've got this. You could drop that too and get even more parkour velocity if you were to put on Truth's Flame. You could get even more with that. Don't have enough space, I don't think. Oh no, I can't have two then one. That's what it is. Oh, we've got entropy. We can't have entropy and truth, so we can't use that. Okay, you could use that, I suppose, though. What else was I going to show here? We could probably use a Spinner X as well. We've got base toxin in it, we could put blast toxin in it and create big explosions. That's alright, take your time. Oh, I put influence in this like an idiot. So, if I swap that to afflictions, should get better result. So this should explode toxin heat on everybody. Yeah, I was just kind of going over it, showing the different weapons and ways we can group up. We know like Vauban can group them up and then it finishes them with the Obex. You can do that with this build as well, which is quite nice. And they're all going to do explode to toxin procs because they're all like in close proximity. And they've also got heat on them now. Or we could put blast heat. Definitely not the best room to showcase this off in. There we go. All exploded. But something like this as well. You know, we can pull them all together. They can die from the clouds of the Dual Liquor, obviously. They can die from the heat on that. The Distressor, that might work out quite good too. If we group them up, then Distressor them. So we'll get on with that. I mainly thought that the Mac Rush would be good for, you know, our AoE. These pistols. I have no idea what that says. Looks like Pokemon language. We can armor strip as well with this. I forget that cost has an armor strip built in. So once we get this up to 100%, we can armor strip with that. Is it 40, 150? It's climbing up. Once it's at 100, that's when we can do the armor strip. Alright, we're up at 100, so watch this armor strip. Ooh, nice. And we can pull that in there. We've got Arcane Hotshot stacked up as well. Easily blow them apart with the pistols, or you know, we can just go armor strip. But there's no need for that because everything's going to die regardless if we strip them or not. Everything's going to die really easily. But now, what weapon we've got here? We've got the Distressor Prime. No, I thought the writing you wrote at first looked like the unknowns, you know, the Pokemon unknowns. The like little weird hieroglyphic Pokemon that look like the language of them from Pokemon Silver. 0.8 million slash, not bad. So we try and group these guys up again. So this grouping isn't needed, it's just a nice little extra thing. But, you know, 3 million there blast proc and pulled together enemies was quite cool. $5.9 million. What would be another good one? We could obviously slam with hammers, but that's nothing new, is it? We've all seen that. we pull these people in here, then you could just, if you wanted to, easy kills. Everybody in the area is going to die. But that's quite boring. We all know how to slam. Everybody's seen it. And you don't really need grouping for slamming, do you, to be fair? But it's just an extra nice little bit of Gauss's kit, because we've now got heat damage, blast damage, cold damage, we've got viral, we've got fire rate, attack speed, casting speed, we've got grouping, and we've got immortality. So he's pretty well rounded, I'd say. And obviously the armor strip will make 100% battery, and then cast cold, and then cast hot. It's really cool. So who else could we? And obviously we've got Overguard here from the Hound, proc and Synergized Prospectus, and then this here is going to give us, free Overguard because it's on the Arch Gun, which is technically applied all the time, these arcanes, and then we've got free melee, kill damage, gun damage here. So it's pretty cool. Combo duration, which is nice, and then anytime we, swap their melee, we're getting free damage for our primaries as well, which is quite cool. So let's go over Loki. Loki is fantastic, I think. Everybody thinks that there's no point in playing Loki when Ashe exists, and I do get it, but there's certain things that Loki can do that Ashe can't do, which is pretty cool. So if we take something like this, what's a multiplicative gun? Blast Assist. So obviously, Blast Assist is going to multiply Galvanized Savvy with base damage, Deadhead, and Blaze. So if we show Loki here, this is the best way I feel to play him. So we've got infinite energy because the invisibility is going to last 28 seconds. And by the time our Nourish has been cast and then we cast our invisibility, Energy Nexus will have regained all our energy. So we'll have enough energy to recast again. So all we really need to care about here is a lot of duration. Why? Because Safeguard Switch. This is basically iframes. So the minute that your invisibility ends, you cast Safeguard Switch on somebody and then look at the duration of invincibility you get. So for any of that downtime, so if you're running low on energy and you've only got enough to cast 25 energy, you do that, and then by the time that 14 seconds is ended, surely you've got enough energy to recast your invisibility, and then you just chain all your visible times up with being invincible, and then when you are invisible, you don't need to worry about this. So the minute you go, it's easier to show it. And then this is basically, you're going to put decoy on our enemies, and enemies are going to shoot them, and it's going to prime them like the Hound spread status effects on everybody. This is going to give us shields back for any time we're visible. We'll cast one ability, and we'll get enough shields back to tank it, then go invincible again. We're going to stack Hotshot through the Hound. We're going to Overguard from our Hound as well, which is another layer of survivability. Because when you're invisible, you might take a bit of damage, but not enough to kill you. Then Crepuscular, because we're going to be invisible all the time, giving us more strength, which will boost in turn this as well. So I'll show how it all kind of comes together. So if I make myself invincible just now, show the point I'm making. I won't make myself invincible. So look at this. Look at this guy here. We put the damage decoy on him now. Now, when we go invisible, and we'll unpause this, they're all going to start shooting him and then priming themselves up. If they actually do it. The Hounds didn't kill them first. So look at that. See the green numbers going everywhere? That's them shooting him and priming each other up with status effects, see? So now, the likes of this will be really strong in them. Look at that, they're primed up. So boom, they're priming the whole room up for us. Because they shoot the decoy guy and the status effects spread around everybody. Now, we've got visibility again, they're all going to start shooting us. But we don't need to worry about that because look, we cast Safeguard Switch and look at our iframes. So you could get rid of his invisibility if you were nuts, and then just play Loki like this, switching around like that, and just keep chaining invincibilities. So our Hotshot's stacked up now, go invisible, put decoy on this guy here, they're going to shoot him, prime each other up. He primed himself up there. So we've got the crit damage, we've got the crit chance from the Hound, and Loki's pretty good. This is essentially the way I play him, and then when our downtime of invincibility ends by pulling the tougher guys like these guys here. Look at this. So we've got no invisibility just now to the end. we're in trouble, somebody's going to find us, somebody's going to shoot us, we're going to start taking damage. You cast that on there, now you're invincible. Then you go back to being invisible, and then you just keep chaining it, and you're regaining energy basically the whole time. If I can get this damage decoy, tap on him, and now they're going to prime each other up. Look at that, see? They can just hang back here as they prime each other up and put status effects on each other. And they can often cold proc the whole room like this, see? And then, if we take any damage, we just cast our 3 again, and we've got iframes. So now we're visible again. We're going to start taking damage. And then we cast that, we've got our iframes, and look at that, we're completely fine. We cast it again, we've got our iframes, cast it again, we've got infinite iframes. And nothing's really going to damage us, nothing's going to hurt us. And then you get your invisibility off again, and then, you're sorted. You've got nothing to really worry about. So we'll put the decoy in this dude again. So it's quite a fun way to play. So we're getting crit chance from Hotshot, we've got Crepuscular, we're invisible, we don't have much to really worry about. We can cast Safeguard Switch anytime we break our shields, and then by the time that Safeguard Switch ends, look, we've got our shield back again. So they break our shield, watch this. Safeguard Switch, the shield's back full again. So it's a cool sort of multi-synergistic way to play Loki, I think. No, that's the thing. The sights and Viz isn't comfortable unless you can keep getting that headshot kills with Sobek and Electric. It's a bit awkward. So Loki can do cool things like that priming, invincibility on demand with that. And I believe when you do it on an ally, they get double duration. I think they get like a 30-second invincibility. So when you're in Cascade, if you're far across the room in Cascade and you want to get somewhere quick, what I often do is I cast on the person far away over there, and then, you can jump around the room quite quick. Yeah, Loki's fantastic for this. You just keep casting 3. By the time that 3 invincibility duration ends, you've then got your iframes back, you've got your shield gate back, and because of the fast deflection mod, and you're pretty much sorted. Now, if we put damage decoy on one of these people here, they're all going to prime themselves up, like I said, on that dude there that's on the ground, wherever he is, he's down there. Oh, go invisible. Safeguard switch with him. So our decoy is going to prime everybody up for us, and we can just chill and not really worry about much. And all that stats effects, that you might cold proc the whole room, We've got the Hound Spirit and stats effects too. This is also going to spread Hotshot. Hey, look at that, I almost died, but no, we're going to get our shields back before even the invincibility duration ends. They're priming the room up. They're all kind of rad procking each other and things like that. Again, safeguard switch. Invincible again. So like I says, he doesn't even really need his invisibility, because between the decoy and them aggroing from the decoy and if we aggro this guy up here, if we decoy this dude here, the amount of aggro they should take away from us, we should pretty much be okay. Now we can stand over here once we're visible, and they probably won't really care about us. So our invisibility is going to end. So we're over here. So they're mostly aggroed by that decoy. Now if we go over here and we do start to take damage, we just safeguard switch and we're okay. It's like Revenants and then safeguard switch again, we're okay. And then obviously you just go invisible and then you're completely fine. So yeah, Loki's super underrated. Everybody fobs him off as just this shit Ash, but he's a lot more than that. He's a lot more than just being a shit Ash. Ivara is somebody that I've never really played, so I've got no opinion on her really. I know that... No. I know that primary compression is what people are using now instead of deadhead on Ivara, but I really don't know much about Ivara. I would feel wrong to even try and talk about her because I don't know anything really about her. Loki was spoke about there. Gauss, who else were we going to talk about? Spoke about Volt earlier. Baruch. Baruch is a fantastic person. I don't know if you've tried to use Baruch, but what have I lost here? I've lost Arcane Strike. Augmented, maybe. You know, Baruch is just absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I must have lost Augmented. I must have sold it by accident. Arcane Strike, attack speed. What else? What else could we give him? In place, I would put Augmented. I don't have it though. What's another melee damage one? I suppose I could slot this in just now. Fury, but you know, when I took Baruch to level cap, this was really easy to do because, you know, in base steel path, you've got enough shield that builds up with just casting abilities that this isn't really a. All right, okay, we've already spoke about Baruch, but this sort of way, he's just so good. People need to realize how good Baruch is. He can absolutely destroy really anything he goes against. You know, if you give him something like this, overguard here, a bit of shield gating with this, you never really need to use this, just spam it every now and then. The Hound, I'll give you the overguard too, and then give Baruch something for like parkour velocity. The minute that you get this sort of stacked up here, you're going to shield gate everything and not have an issue. Put these guys to sleep. Oh, I put Jade Stars in him, I don't know why I did that. And then, you know, look at that, levels of damage. Baruch is absolutely insane. You know, you can just turn the AI off, put them to sleep, and not really worry about much. And then when it comes to when you have to, you can just shield gate the high levels. Now, if we pull in these guys here, you know, regardless of how this looks here, this is exactly the same at level cap. You're going to kill them just as easily. You're going to give yourself overguard, and then wipe the whole room of level 9,999 enemies out that quick. It's absolutely insane how strong this guy is. You know, regardless of level, they will all die that quickly. So I think that's all that needs to really be said about Baruch, because he's that good. Just an absolutely fantastic frame that's super slept on for other melees. Who else can we speak about? And Nidus. Nidus got changed a bit, did he? You know, I did have Nidus set up to have the super good grouping. I changed this just for Cascade with strength and parkour velocity. This is infinite energy, infinite health, really. You're never really going to have to worry about anything. You could just give him, you know, if we just give him Arcane Grace here, you can just stand underneath stuff and not worry about dying. Because once this is built up, you're going to have like 20,000 health. So the 9%, the 6% health regain, it's going to be enough to keep you alive. So if we start this up in standard, and he's in an even better position than he was before. And he was, you know, before they even reworked him like this, he was in a fantastic position. Look at the health already. Yeah, I have yeah, I don't think you're meant to use casting speed on Gara's melee. I don't think it works. So look at her health. Look at it. It just doesn't budge. That's just at max stacks. Look at her health. It can't hurt us. So if I get in this dude's here, cast that on him. Look at this. You can stand here all day, regardless of level cap or not. You're going to stand here just completely immortal. So now Nidus is actually, now we're getting overguard from the Hound too. Nidus is probably even better at surviving level cap than Revenant now. Look at the damage it's doing as well. I've got the grouping too. You group up. And I'll hold up on the screen if you want to screenshot it. So, I've seen people taking his health up to like 50,000, 100,000, but it's complete overkill because once you get to 20,000 health and you use Arcane Grace, and as long as you keep tethered to people with the Parasite, you'll probably never die, and you're going to have infinite energy because all damage you take is then converted into energy. So, our energy is 541 with Nourish. If you wanted to drop that, you could take that out there and put in something like, Arcane Battery here, and then, free that slot up if you really wanted to. I don't know what else you could put in here. You could maybe put something like this in. What is it? You could put Stretch in, I suppose, or, Archon Stretch. Yeah, it's a perfect combination, is it? It keeps you alive regardless of what you go against. So this has took a hit to, I've got a bit more range here. I've lost a bit of grace, but we'll probably still survive just as easily. Look at this. Get these guys in again. I'm sure that he won't have an issue surviving with this at all either. And look at our levels of energy now. We still don't need to worry about energy at all, and we've sacrificed that for a bit of range, I suppose. And then, if we let these guys come in now, see if they can kill us. I don't think they'll be able to kill us. As soon as we link to these people, look at that health. And then the thing is, let's pretend that our health does go down. We'll let it go down if we can't get it to go down. Where's this companion? No, we'll do. We'll turn off the companion invincibility. Get these guys back in again. I don't think he'll die even without the Arcane Grace, to be honest. I think he'll still survive because I never took Arcane Grace to level cap. I just, anytime my health got low, I just recast to 3. And, then you repropped all your health back again. There we go, look, we're losing some health. But look how long it's going to take them to kill us. And then if you want to regain all your health again, you just recast it on the next guy. And we've got infinite energy. So, Arcane Grace is essentially becoming redundant because we're just that tanky that we don't need it. And like when I took Nidus to level cap last time, I took the 10 at Livia, and I'd forgot to swap it to gas. I think I had it with Blast. Where is it? Is it here? If I take this thing out again, look at this. Take this out. So else something that's good for grouping. I give him something like this, and Ballista 2. Pretty good weapon. What are they? So this sort of thing with Nidus is just so good. Just ridiculous levels of gas damage. I think I took Protea to level cap once, but I don't think I streamed it. I need to do it again. My issue with Protea was that I couldn't have the... What's this here? I couldn't have the mods that would boost your shields. But I think the next time, if I was to take it to level cap, I would just drop the... a lot of duration there. I would drop probably drop that and put this in here in place. You know, she's extremely strong. She is, you know, she's going to chew through anything you put her against, really. I do believe that the guns fall off a bit towards higher levels. So we've got Arcane Concentration here. Vitality to double dip on the heat procs of the guns. Yeah, the augments, I never liked them. This one here, you need to reverse time and stuff. Temple or do you want existing? Yeah, I never liked augments, to be honest. I just run it like this. Let me show you what it's like. Concentration. We can put hot shot in as well because we'll keep it stacked if we want to, or we could put in molt augmented. I suppose molt augmented would be the better choice if you're going to rely on killing with their guns. I don't have it right now. I accidentally sold it by accident. I'll get another molt augmented. So obviously I would put molt augmented there. Don't have it just now, so we could put in something like this. Now, I used to use her with Nautilus all the time until they nerfed the Nautilus. You know, killing, grouping up the Eximus. It doesn't do that now, but I'll pull out. This is a disgusting riven. Not a lot of people will have this. So, you know, this can group up the people that don't have Overguard, and then if we give her something like that, the parkour speed, we shouldn't really need much else. So if I pause this dudes here, and I get in these dudes here, you know, we tap this down here for the shields, then the Nautilus is going to pull these people together. And if we prime them up, the Nautilus is probably going to kill them before we get a chance to then throw this down. Look at the levels of damage it'll do. Bad example. But, you know, something like that. Now, as soon as they're grouped up and that starts to shoot them, it's over. They're absolutely wiped out. Bit of priming. Insane. 36 stacks on that gun there. You're going to have 3 out as well. Now, I did used to group the Eximus, so that's the reason that I kind of went off playing her. I used to play Protea quite a bit. But something like this, you know, prime them up with Vital, and throw this down. And look at the damage it's doing. Definitely millions of procs for the heat. So it's going to chew through everything quite easily. And for survivability, let's have a look at this. If we unpause these dudes here. As long as we got the 1 down, we should survive relatively easy. We're getting Overguard through our Hound. Hounds went down now. I believe the turrets can give us Overguard too. If it sounds insane, but I believe if we, something like this, look, if we get a shot off with this and then the turrets keep damaging them, look at that, we're getting Overguard. So the turrets are actually proccing Overguard for us as long as we get a shot off with this and a heat procs, and we've got secondary fortifier on that secondary, so we can gain, you know, Overguard through the turrets. So again, if I break this Overguard, hold on, go in here, change, then go back, I should lose Overguard, then I'll get a heat proc with the gun, then the turret should gain Overguard for us. Right, we'll unpause these guys, let them break the Overguard. Now, pause them, spawn them in again. Now we should be able to give ourselves the Overguard as long as we get a shot off with the gun, then spawn the turrets. So we've got a shot off, now we get the gun out. Look at that. So you get shot off with your heavy tough, and then you'll get overguard through the turrets, which is insane to be honest. So unpause these dudes here, they'll break the overguard, get a couple of shots off with this, then recast, and then look at this, we shoot overguard gate. We're on at overguard, that's the issue there. Try again. I know it's possible, I've done it before. Get shot off, get these down. Now we should be able to overguard gate, in theory. Yep, see? The turrets are doing that for us. Then we've also got the one to give us shields to. It's an extremely strong, good frame. You know, we just wiped through all of them effortlessly, really, without any guns. And we've got hot shot as well, so we can, you know, pull out good guns to go with this. Yeah, that ALAC's really good, is it? So I didn't put much effort into this really. 15 duration, casting speed. And then really just all you really need to care about is big duration and a little bit of strength, and these two can take a hit. Because as long as you walk into that, get the things to boost your shields, you know, these are still going to shoot really far. You kind of want to put them in a sort of triangle shape so they can hit the whole room, you know, maybe one like this. One like that, then maybe one face in there, and then one face in there, and then that way you're going to be able to really hit everything that's in front of you. I believe heat and head it works in these as well. If you know you've got, I haven't set up here, but you know if you've got a Primex Bellorican and you hit them first with Epitaph, then you cast your turrets, you'll get that 1.55 damage multiplier. But it's a bit finicky, and I can't be bothered with that sort of setups. So this does me. This is completely fine for me. What else can we talk about? Zephyr, great frame. Harrow, brilliant. Nyx, good. Citrine, good. Stynax, I've spoke about. Grendel, immortal. Completely immortal Grendel with no Helmuth. I think we've spoke about this before though. You know, we can just stand underneath the Jade Light like this, which is insane. We go in this ball here. We suck people up in our tummy, so we can do it. We need to get their armor up. There we go now, we can just stand here like this. Nothing can kill us. Ludicrous. And you know, this is what happened all the way to level cap with Grendel. And you can just gas proc a lot of them and kill the whole room. Really, really strong. Just stay in the ball constantly. Yeah, it does. You're right there. It boosts up the crit chance with the Stynax. Get out of this fucking testicle. Yeah, you definitely don't use the passive that way. But what else did I have here? But that took a hit, but we had this here, which would make up for it, I suppose. So it's kind of anti-synergistic, synergistic. How much crit does he get with shields? You know, you could do it like this. If you're not going to level cap, you could definitely do this sort of thing with it. Where is it? This way you could get a lot more shields, but I tried it at level cap and it was a bit finicky. So strength modifiers apply to shields, so you lose that there, you get 1767. Yeah, you keep fast deflection in, you put this in as well. Where is it? Prime redirection. You know, it's 3354. Put in fast deflection, brief respite. And this would handle steel path easily. I don't know if it would go up to level cap. well, actually, I had a run of it when I went to level cap with this, and I really struggled at the high levels. But as long as you've got something like this, you know, to overguard gate, you know, this sort of thing, we should be okay, to be honest. So, do this here. You know, look at that shields now. That's just ridiculous levels of shields. Look at the shields. And then we'll lose it though, that's the problem, you know. But the crit chance will be insane, I'm sure. As long as we can survive with that, I'm sure you'll be okay. And you know, as long as it's not level cap, I don't think this would struggle. But I definitely wanted to have the shield gate in effect at level cap. You could go this way though. You could drop this. Oh, definitely. It would definitely work in there. So if you done this as well, I'm sure this level of shields would be completely fine. I'm sure, you know, it would probably survive quite easily in base steel path like this. And as long as you're killing, you're going to get shields back. You know what I mean? So as long as we keep killing, we're going to get shields back. Arcane Aegis will proc, hopefully. Look at the next group in. So it's like a 4,000 shields Dinox. Got an Aegis proc yet. Now we get a kill. Overguard. Get shields back. So how quickly can we get the shields back? If we run around with something like this, get torrid out, I don't think we'll ever really die because we'll be killing just as fast. So spawn these dudes in. You know, they're going to break the shields, but then, you know, they broke the shields. Look at that. You get your shields fully back again. Back to full shields. So if we take off the companion now, you know, for base steel path, this is definitely going to be overkill. We're going to just melt everything and have an insane level of shields with this because of expertise and Aegis, and then, you know, fast deflection, brief respite. The Hound as well. He's not on right now, but he'll be giving us, if we take this here with lose melee rate, put in Guardian, you know, we should be completely sorted for surviving this way. So if I proc this, get this off, and then just have this here to survive on. So we're losing shields. Aegis is proccing though, and we're not dying from that. Look at that arc, and then the minute we get some kills, we've got our shields back again. We'll release some shields. Aegis procs. You know, we shoot, we get shields back again. They really can't break through it. Group them up like that. Get shields back again. So it definitely would work. You could run around with a hammer and just slam and get your shields back. You could do something like this. And that would definitely be complete overkill for Steel Pass. Something like this. Shields are going to break. Do that. And then, you know, just completely have your shields back again. It's kind of like Vex armor for shields this. You know, it heals your shields on kill. If they break this here, see if we can get full shield back on a slam. If we don't get Arcane Aegis to proc, or the companion doesn't give us full shields back again. Yeah, we've got Arcane Aegis to proc before they could even break through it. And then, you know, we do that, boom, keeps the shields back. So it's a fun little way to do it, you know, if it's not level cap. I would probably recommend this would be the better way to do it. The only reason I dropped the shields down was because obviously at the high levels it was a bit inconsistent to keep that up. So that's what I have here for that. Definitely a good way to do it. Don't know if you want to take a photo with that or what. Let me swap this back in case I go level cap again. There you go, that's it there, I think. That's a flex slot, but I suppose it is nice energy to restore, extra energy to restore with this. So what was that? We get 99 shields on kill. I think these two augments are so much better than the 4 augment. A complete waste of time in my opinion. It's definitely a more fun way to play it. So who else we're going to talk about? Harrow is another great frame. I don't know how many people here have played Harrow. I've lost my augmented again. I'm an idiot. Callus. What's that? Is that not that weird gun that I heard was that weird gun that was supposedly found on Plains Eidolon, was it not? So what we got here, expertise, giant shield with Harrow, so we get a lot more fire rate with this. And if we put something like Aegis in, we should in theory never really die. We have Harrow this and something like something insane like this. We got Canonade and that. No, we don't. So we should get a decent fire rate on this. This should be pretty crazy with Harrow. I absolutely love playing Harrow in solo. I took it to level cap this build as well. Fast deflection paired with this was pretty good. It was hard for him to really lose any shields. I don't know why I've got that in there. In my opinion, it should be this. Fix that. That should do a bit better now. This should be quite fun in Harrow. I thought that. I thought that. I was looking for that gun, but then I was hearing that it was just a rumor. I did look for it. I was annoyed. It looked like a cool little Sobek did it kind of. We can give this to Harrow to really boost the fire rate of this. This could be quite cool in him. I'll give Harrow this actually. This would be a good little utility one to freeze the whole room, give us overguard, and do a lot of damage. This could be quite cool. Attack speed always works well in Harrow. Freeze the room, a bit more survivability with that as well. The Gorvak, I don't think I've ever seen that. I didn't even know it existed. Never ever heard of that gun. But Harrow's going to lose a lot of shields with this, but then we'll get an insane amount of fire rate. And it's going to instantly go back up again because we've got fast deflection. And the top of being able to cast is 1. We should be pretty much protected in the downtime of this. Look at the shields are back again. So if we sacrifice our shields again, we'll see how we get on against the Eximus squad this time. But decent attack speed too for our Kina. And the Dual Toxica is just going crazy. So we spawning these dudes here. But we've got our thing up. Sacrifice some shields, we'll instantly get it back. Get some more regard to survive that initial hits. Hold proc the room, give us a bit more survivability. You know, when a frame can survive a room full of Xmas at level 200, they're pretty good, I'd say. Sacrifice that shields again, and then during the downtime of that shield, get the overguard up. Till that shield regains, and then we got it back again. And then Bob's your uncle. We've got a pretty good gameplay loop of that. And look at the fire rate on this Steel Torxica. And the attack speed in this is still pretty good. Ludicrous. Just ludicrous. I think Haro's completely slept on for people that, you know, because he does feel so much better in solo modes. But he is so good, it's hard to ignore how fun he is. And if you take him like this to level cap, you shouldn't really struggle to survive. As long as you can cast that one often, you should be okay. And then in the downtime of Legion's shields, you know, proc your secondary fortifier while your shield regains. You know, as long as you can cast your one on one person, you should be okay. Like this. As long as I cast on one person, we've got full shields back again. And see, that should be the way to make it work. Expertise and Aegis are really nice for obviously sacrificing that shields, and then getting Aegis procs along with fast deflection and brief respite. You shouldn't have much time with no shields.
Purity of the body aids purity of the mind.
My mind went blank. Who else is there really? I've not really put that much time and effort into other people. Oh, was I looking at the wrong Steinax, was I? I was looking at the right one. No, I was looking at the right one, yeah. I think so. This is absolutely insane too. Atlas. So good. I believe that Molt Augmented was there till I sold it like an idiot. So they probably... Let me have a quick look at that in a sec. So I can't think of what else I could put in here maybe. Obviously I don't have Molt Augmented, but that would be the one I would put in there. I don't think Melee Arcane's effect is Exalted Weapon. So I'm lost for words what I would really put in there. Until I get Molt Augmented, nothing. But this is excellent. Absolutely excellent. A level cap, it just absolutely obliterates anything, and then for survivability you just take this. And you know that these two here with Fortifier should be enough to keep you alive. Then you obviously got your Hound proc and Overguard. Oh, Coda Pox. I've got that as well. Yeah, I'll show that in just a sec. You know, this is obscene levels of damage. So we've got Influence here, but you can also go Exposure because he already has built-in AoE. So Exposure can work really good with this too. So, you know, the minute we get these dudes in, something like this, you know, the whole room's frozen and they can't really do shit to you. Then you build that combo up and then it's good night Vienna, everybody in the room. The rumblers are just pointless. They don't really do anything, but what's that? Freeze the whole room, so you get no damage, and then just obliterate everything. Fantastic. And you look at the overguard, so there's not much to really worry about. And then when it comes to these guys, oh yeah, I've got that here. Just ludicrous levels of damage. Absolutely over the top. And the level cap, it's the exact same. And then you just kind of run around spamming this to keep your overguard up. Cast your 3, cast your 1, and then we've got all abilities are free because these people we pick up. Once we pick them up, look at that armor counter in the bottom corner. If we petrify them, turn them into stone, and then pick up the armor, I think every cast of the 1 becomes free. That, just insane. It's not Excalibur levels of damage, but it's pretty close. Sepulchrum, where is it? Take it with Wisp so we can give it a bit of fire rate. Now, I usually have this in here, so we'll just put it in just now so I don't forget about it. If you don't have that, just put in Jolt. This is an insane gun. This is super, super strong. So if we spawn in these dudes here and show just how strong it really is, with a bit of priming. So the Hound will do his thing, we'll get a bit of fire rate. No stacks. Look at that. Disgusting levels of damage, 4.1 million. Just absolutely ridiculous. This is glitching a little bit. I don't know if it's showing in the stream, but it's glitching. Brutal. This is glitching. I'm going to go out the simulacrum and jump back in it. I'll have a look at this. I'll have a look at this. What was it you sent? The Aeolac. Here we go. I think that would do completely fine. Yep. As long as you can keep up them headshots. Personally, I would put in the crit chance mod. That's just me. I prefer that, but I think that's going to do completely perfectly. If you want to really bolster the damage, I would try and fix Serration in there somehow, because it's the. Is it? Oh, is that yours? Oh no, that's your one there. I was looking at somebody else's. I was looking at Steelhawks. Yeah, here's your one. That looks absolutely perfect. Yeah, I couldn't. That's absolutely perfect. Completely. Yeah, that's the way to do it. That's definitely the way to build it that way. Definitely, the Serration with the aptitude and the deadhead, it's going to hit multiple millions. Definitely the best way to have it. It's the same as the Fullman's super underrated. It's multiplicative and it can proc internal bleeding as well, because look at the fire rate. It's at 3.03. Obviously, I wouldn't use this with Wisp to keep that fire rate down. But if I was to take it with, let's take Revenant here. What's he got on him? He's got precision. We'll take our acceleration. Let's give him. Where is it? Am I going off my head? It is. We'll drop that fire rate. We'll take this instead as well, just for a bit of basic priming and no extra fire rate. The Fullman is insane. This is really, really strong. So yeah, Fullman with a bit of priming is really, really good. Of course, you're going to ignore this full auto fire. You're just going to use the semi auto fire. But look at this with no stacks. I'll go put the Sepulchrum up in a second too. Look at this. Now we're getting some stacks. That's preposterous levels of damage. 6.9 million. So, we're killing level cap level enemies here basically. With this is going to just chew through level cap people with 1 or 2 hits. And this dude's primed up here. Hit him in the foot, they die. Super good gun. Fantastic gun. So the pox I haven't done that much with, but something along the lines of this I think works good. It's a candidate for Enervate. I like a bit of the Zacti I showed. Did I show that earlier? It was the other night, I think. Very like the Zacti electric gas magnetic. It's much damage and AoE we can get in it. Probably really want to have some group in with this to maximise it. So something like, if you're not going to have a group in, I would do this. So we've got Toxin there. So now we've got Corrosive. Swap this up to here. So we've got Corrosive there. Then we could get Heat in as well. So what's this Corrosive here? And this would be the best way to go if you don't have grouping. But I've never felt the Pox was that great. I'll try it here with this dudes. It's going to chew through them and it's going to be pretty strong. I do believe it's multiplicative indirect hits. So obviously priming's going to really help it. Not bad damage anyway. Pretty strong. Especially when we get up to red and orange. Then, if we throw something in like Mag here and then group them up, it'll do a lot better, I think. So definitely capable. So that would be this here. Or I'm going to go and eat supper that my beautiful girlfriend's made me. It's absolutely amazing. So cheers, I'll see you later. Bye bye.